I just saw Pixar's latest film, Inside Out 2, and I can't wait to talk about it with you guys. So, let's get into it. There have been some major questions surrounding Pixar as of late. It seems like they've gone into a little bit of a funk. I don't think they've made really any terrible movies, but it's not up to the usual standard that we have expected from Pixar for the longest stretch of time. A lot of us, including myself, were raised on Pixar films during their heyday when they were just making hit after hit and explaining some of the more complex elements in life in the most simplest of terms and ways that could communicate to an entire family. There's a real delineation between a kids movie and a family movie. Illumination make kids movies. Pixar make family movies where literally every single person in a family, from the parents to the kids, can get something out of it and enjoy it because they just are so good at making these universal stories so accessible. Inside Out 1 was a real testament to that, where it really went through the different emotions we have when we're growing up and how all of these emotions influence your decision making, influence who you become as a person, and how you evolve over the years. And it did it in just the most beautiful fashion. It has moments in it that will make pretty much every single person who saw that movie cry. It was fantastic. I really don't have any flaws with Inside Out 1. It just was so great. I had both a healthy amount of skepticism as well as excitement for Inside Out 2, because Inside Out so far hasn't steered me wrong. The first movie was excellent. However, Pixar to me haven't had a great track record with their sequels. The only one that really has pulled it off properly in my eyes has probably only been Toy Story, with Toy Story 2 and 3 being so incredible. But other than that, I didn't enjoy The Incredibles 2, I didn't enjoy Finding Dory, I didn't enjoy Monsters University. They just weren't hitting the right way, and Cars 2 has always been looked at as an example of the wrong way to do a sequel by so many people. And so there is some skepticism from me because of Pixar's track record with sequels and not quite figuring out how to continue on a story with the concepts that they have and making it evolve and be different, fresh, unique, exciting without being derivative of the first movie. So I'm pleased to express to you all that Inside Out 2 was incredible. I really loved this movie. It just captured that Pixar magic once again. You know, I haven't fully been on board with a Pixar movie and really enjoyed one since they made Luca, which really hit me in a lot of ways. Everything else has been kind of just okay, and we're back. We're so back. Inside Out 2 just captures all of these emotions, explains such complex feelings so easily. It feels effortless at times. And I do think, once again, this is a movie for the whole family. It is directed at a slightly older person than a child now, as the main character, Riley, has grown up to start facing her teenage years and what that phase of her life looks like. All this chaos ensues as she hits puberty and all of her emotions just go completely out of whack, and she's trying to find her identity, because that is, of course, that era of life that we all go through where you really try to find yourself. And Pixar explained that just so well here, with new emotions being just great additions to this film. All the same emotions that you saw in Inside Out 1 are there. Joy obviously is the lead and is a fantastic character and is voice acted so well from Amy Poehler. It might be her best performance ever. She just really captures that character, and I just love this protagonist. I think that she's so easy to connect to, and she's not annoying. This character in a world with bad writers and no passion could be a very annoying by the book character that I'm sure someone under the age of 5 will enjoy, but no one else will. The fact that Joy is written so well and performs so well makes her so easy to connect to. Her joy is infectious in the movie. The jokes that she makes are great, but she does have a side to her where she can feel hurt and sad and things like that. She is a complex character. They don't expressly feel that one emotion that they embody. And I think that's great as a character, because if they're just that one thing the whole time, they're going to be very one-dimensional. Then we have the new emotions that come during this era of life: anxiety, envy, embarrassment, ennui, which was a very interesting addition that I was very skeptical would work, but I really did like the addition of this emotion. It was just great, and it's in there just enough to be funny without it being annoying. The biggest one here is, of course, anxiety, played by Maya Hawke, who has a big role in this movie. I think that this is one of the best portrayals of anxiety that I have seen in a film. Getting personal for a moment, anxiety is something that I've battled with almost my entire life, and it continues to grow and fester and evolve in ways that really do challenge me day to day. And I just really, really loved the way that anxiety is showcased within this film. I thought it was very real. I thought the way that it impacts the protagonist, Riley, her life, I think it's very, very relatable, especially in that stage of life and how it begins. I just think it was really well done and explained something that is so complex. When you're dealing with an emotion like that, it's not even an emotion, but it's just something constant. And it does feel so complex. It's hard to articulate to someone what that feeling is properly. But Pixar just do such a phenomenal job of doing that, that I do think that in a way, you are someone who doesn't understand what anxiety does to a person if you don't have it. I think that this is a great showcase of that. It doesn't dive into the deep complexities of it all. It's a Pixar movie. It's not some analysis on anxiety, but it does enough to just showcase what it is and how it affects someone. And the way that that continues throughout the film and the impact on all the characters, just really well explained. I really can't go into any more detail without spoiling elements of the third act, but I just really, really loved that portrayal. It felt real. It didn't hold back in moments where it could have, but it is still so family friendly. It is just a really great explanation, and it plays well within a film. I could recommend Inside Out 2 to any single person on the planet, because Pixar just make movies like that. It might be one of their more mature movies if you want to go down that route, but it's not as mature as something like Soul or anything like that, where it might be more for a 10-year-old rather than a 5-year-old. Also, I really loved Embarrassment. He's just in this enough to be just great comedic relief, works really well within this movie with some of these new characters. I just think that they are added so seamlessly into this movie. There's also really great bonus little characters within this as well that just feel so imaginative, were working so well for comedic relief, and there's just some great little payoffs with these characters throughout the film that just make it so entertaining and add something new to this one that really justifies its existence. I really, really loved it. It was just entertaining the whole way through. This movie never overstayed its welcome. I did love as well that I think that this movie explored Riley a lot more than the first movie, which I just think is a great choice, because I do think that's a great character. Riley as the human, sure, she doesn't look as colorful or as exciting as the emotions, but she's a real person and someone that we can connect with as people. And instead of just being a vessel for these emotions, she is her own three-dimensional character in this movie. Not that she really wasn't in the first, but it's just more fleshed out in this second installment. I thought the Riley drama was really fascinating too, because in the sequences with her, it's filled with sports metaphors and things of that nature. I'm a big sports guy, so that once again just connected with me on another level as well. But it really is about different social groups and things of that nature, trying to fit in with a new group and leaving your old friends behind, and that conflict that this character has of trying to be cool versus still being loyal to her friends. I think that that is such an everyday problem in high school that so many people face. And once again, it is done so well in this movie. Critics might say that this movie is not as emotional as Inside Out 1, and that may be true. Inside Out 2 does not have a bing bong moment. If you know, you know. There's no real moment like that that's going to really crush your soul. But I teared up a few times in this movie. Maybe because I connected with it so much. I think that really, if you have suffered with anxiety, this movie will hit you pretty hard, and it feels like a really real experience that they're portraying with so much respect. So I connected with it on that level, so it did hit me emotionally. But yeah, there's no universal moment that you can point to and be like, yeah, that moment is the moment that made every single person cry. You show a picture of Bing Bong, everyone will have a reaction to that because of that scene in Inside Out 1. There just isn't something like that I can point to in Inside Out 2, but there were some real sad moments that do really work. But it's not a depression anxiety fest. This thing is filled with joy and hope, and it is upbeat and funny. It's just such a perfect balance between these serious themes and being entertaining, like what you can expect from Pixar at their best. Also, of course, because it is a Pixar movie, the animation looks absolutely superb. I compliment that in every single one of their movies because it is. It has defined generations now of animation, and it just continues. Yes, the style is still kind of similar, but it's so beautiful in moments and deserves to be seen on a big screen. I think the fact that these movies were getting pulled and only getting put on Disney Plus was a great shame. I think Pixar always deserved better. They're one of the best studios ever who make consistently excellent movies. Yes, they might stumble at points. Yes, they might make a mediocre movie every now and then, but no one's perfect, right? And this is just such a great return to form that deserves your time in a movie theater, so please check it out in theaters. The only flaw that I really could pick out for this movie is that the setup for the adventure does feel kind of similar to Inside Out 1. Where they go in some of these locations do feel a little bit samey for the most part, but that's really about it, and I feel like I'm really nitpicking there. Overall, Inside Out 2 is phenomenal. The fact that this is the directorial debut of Kelsey Mann as well is so impressive, that this is your first movie as a director, making a full-blown Pixar movie like Inside Out 2. I think they delivered in every way possible. Yes, I think the consensus will be that this is probably not as good as Inside Out 1, but because it hit me so personally, I can't help but love it just as much as Inside Out 1. I think this worked so well for me, and I think that this will deeply connect with a lot of people because it did to me, and I'm sure it will for you as well. As a score, I'm going to give Inside Out 2 a 4.5 out of 5. I think it was just excellent in everything that it managed to go for. It really connected with me on a personal level, and I just highly recommend you check it out. And those are my thoughts towards Inside Out 2. If you've seen the movie, let me know what you think about it in the comments below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Remember to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.